Hey, buenos dias, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasó, amigos? John's Moto Garage. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going over 5 things I've learned since getting back into motorcycles at the ripe old age of 30. That's right, 30. Yeah, 5 important lessons I've picked up in the last 2 years here. So let's jump into it. All right, so I'm 32 now, and just to put this into context, I bought my first motorcycle when I was 18, just shortly out of high school. I had a buddy who for years had been trying to convince me to buy a bike, and finally I said, you know what, let's do it. I went out, didn't even tell my parents, got the cash, and purchased a 2000 Honda CLX 600. I ripped that thing all over the place. I dumped that bike over, had a blast on it, learned the basics with that motorcycle. The longest ride we ever did was from Arizona almost to Yellowstone. Almost made it on that little Shadow 600. At the age of 19, I went on a mission up to Argentina, spent 2 years up there. Every opportunity I had, I got my hands on a motorcycle while I was there. Always got busted because we weren't supposed to be riding motorcycles. But it was clear to me that motos were going to be a part of my life because I had a blast riding. So after coming home from Argentina, first thing I did when I got home is I jumped back on the Shadow 600, ripped it around the block. And not long after that, though, I ended up selling that motorcycle to buy a wedding ring for my wife. So once again, I found myself without a motorcycle, but it didn't take long before I saved up more money, picked up another bike, and that's kind of how I got into buying and selling motorcycles. So I'm 32 now. I bought my first bike at 18. That's what, 14 years? But I haven't really been riding during that 14 years. For the most part, I was buying and selling bikes, raising a family, going to school, doing all that stuff. So I always had a bike in my possession, but I wasn't actually learning to ride or going out and getting saddle or seat time on the motorcycles. So it really wasn't until the last 2 years since starting this channel that I started to focus on actually riding, which is something I had wanted to do for a long time. I had wanted to focus on specific skills like wheelies, stoppies, burnouts, drifting, that kind of thing. And so finally 2 years ago I started up this channel, and that's when I really started. So the number one thing I learned when I first got back into this at 30 years old is how much I suck. And I always thought I was a pretty good rider, but it wasn't until actually focusing on different skills like slow speed and maneuvers, trying to do knee drags, things like that, that I realized, holy crap, I actually suck at this, man. And the reason being is I just hadn't put in the seat time. And that's number two. Number two thing I've learned is there's no cutting corners when it comes to this. Whatever the skill set is you want to master on a motorcycle, no matter how good you think you are, you can't just go out there and master it in a day. The dudes who are really good at riding, you know why? It's because they've been on the bike a super long time, whether that be that they've put a ton of hours in a short period of time, or they've actually been riding for years and years. But in my case, yeah, I bought my first bike at 18, but it wasn't until 12 years later when I actually started putting the effort in to learn tricks that I actually learned different skill sets. So you can't cut corners. You got to put in the effort, put in the time, and that's for whatever it is you want to do. So if you want to be really good at the slow speed maneuvers and stuff, wow, what is this? That's a pretty cool rock. Anyway, if you want to be super good at slow speed maneuvers, like parking lot maneuvers, if you want to be good at wheelies, if you want to be good at track, whatever it is, you can't cut corners. You just got to put the effort towards that. Number three, motorcycles are expensive. It is an expensive hobby. And so whether it be upgrades to the bike, gear, the motorcycle itself, plan on setting money aside, setting funds aside. So if / when something does happen, if the bike breaks down or you get hurt, whatever it is, you've got those funds ready to go, because unfortunately it is expensive. Number four, whatever your dream bike is right now, it's quite likely that 2-3 years down the road that will no longer be your dream bike. I feel like my riding preferences change every 6-7 months or so. There's so many different types of riding out there: dirt biking, adventure riding, track riding, trials riding, stunt riding, Harley stunts, Honda Grom. There's so many options. The supermoto, so many options. And so don't get too hung up on the specific bike. Just get out there, get your 2 wheels, and as time goes on, you can start to narrow down and hone in on the specific type of riding you prefer. But one thing I've found is pretty much any type of riding I try, I have a blast doing it. Even if it's just riding from Austin back to Phoenix, I had fun doing that. I would love to get out and do more long rides, but also trying to get into stunt riding, doing the stuff on the Harleys. I'm sure I would have a blast on the track. I would absolutely love to get a dirt bike here soon enough. And so I don't know. I think if you have the opportunity to try out different types of riding, the better, you know, the more the better, the more the merrier. But yeah, whatever your dream bike is now may or may not be the dream bike 2-3 years down the road. And then last but not least, number 5, what I've realized over these last 2 years is it's really just solidified how much I absolutely love to be on 2 wheels. Growing up, I was always kind of like an adventurous spirit. I like to be out skateboarding, riding BMX bikes. I just love the outdoors, and there's nothing like getting on 2 wheels, the wind in your hair, and just getting out. It's such an awesome therapy and outlet. There's nothing like it, man. I absolutely love it. Even riding, like, you know, almost every day, ripping around on a motorcycle, there are you know, a few times where I feel like I'm tired or bored of riding, and usually I take a day off and I'm ready to go again. So those are the things in the last 2 years, really, since getting back into riding, that I've learned. Let me know below, what are some things you've learned since you started your 2-wheel journey? What are some important lessons? Drop a comment below. As always, I appreciate the support. Like and subscribe if you dig the content. We're still out here in Utah, but we'll be back soon enough, and you know, back on 2 wheels. And there you have it, John's Motor Garage. We'll catch you next time. You can hit me on Instagram at John's Motor Garage. Have fun, ride safe, and adios, nos vemos.